Hello, and welcome to Odds on FIFA Club World Cup quarterfinals. Of course, we are here for the whole tournament to analyze what is going on in the United States and, of course, listen carefully to Leo Bachanian because you were really spot on in the last 16 round. Leo, although, of course, it was almost impossible to predict that Man City were going to lose against Al Hilal. Hello, Leo. How are you?
Hello, Edu. How are you? Amazing to be here again now with the quarterfinals. Yes, to be honest, the first game we have to analyze, and we're gonna go there soon, is Fluminense Hilal. But we were waiting to see Manchester City and Inter there. But that's football. That's the beauty of football. Absolutely.
Yes, well, let's not waste any time, guys. 4 games this weekend in the USA to see which teams are going to play the semifinals of this FIFA Club World Cup. So stay with us, of course. Leave your comments, press the like, subscribe to our channel, and even click on the bell to get the notifications. And now let's go on with the show. You said it before, Leo. It's a huge surprise in these quarterfinals, Fluminense Al Hilal, because we expected Inter to beat Fluminense, although we had our doubts about Chibu's team, and at the end, Fluminense beat Inter 2-0 with 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐻𝐿 and Hércules scoring at the beginning and at the end of the game. And we have Al Hilal, even a bigger surprise, although we are enjoying them a lot in this tournament, even in the first game against Real Madrid. And of course, in the last one, 4-3, it's never easy to score 4 goals against Man City with an stellar Bono, a goalkeeper that we know from the World Cup, from Spain, in Sevilla, and we know how good he is, but also Marcos Leonardo scoring a brace, and amazing the job by Inzaghi, Leo, in a couple of weeks only after taking the job. And now it's funny enough to see Al Hilal as favorite. We can see the odds are very high. It's very difficult to predict probably which team is going to qualify for the semifinals, but I'm surprised to see Al Hilal at this stage, Leo, as favorites.
Yeah, that's true. But I still, to be honest, believe they have a little advantage over Fluminense. I told you even before on the previous show, before the game with Inter, that within the Brazilian teams, Fluminense was probably the weakest one. This said, they were amazing against the Italians. The defensive appliance they have was just outstanding. Now we're gonna have to see. This is a different scenario for both of them. The reality is that they have both a huge chance, Edu, to making it to the semis. It was not in people's mind, not in their supporters' mind, not in mine as well, for sure. Renato Gaúcho took this team for the 7th time only 3 months ago. It was 3 months ago this Thursday that he took this team when Mario Menezes was fired and 𝐿𝐵𝐵 Milito passed the chance of coaching the team. And on the other side, you just mentioned Simone Inzaghi had 2 weeks probably or even less of training with the team after leaving Inter and before arriving to the US. For years in Brazil, Renato Gaúcho, despite winning the Copa Libertadores with Grêmio as a manager, he also won the Copa Libertadores as a player with Grêmio, but he's been seen as someone who is not a tactician, a specialist. However, if there is something that his team has shown in the US, Edu, is how well they've been adapting their lineup from game to game. Against Borussia Dortmund, 0-0 in their debut, Renato opted for a trio of defensive midfielders: Martinelli, Hércules, the hero against Inter, with the second goal, and Nonato. Against Ulsan on match day 2, he changed formation, opted for Ganso as a starter. Against Mamelodi on match day 3, he decided to start with 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐻𝐿 up front. 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐻𝐿, who was such an important player when they won the Copa Libertadores 2 years ago. Against Inter Milan, the most important players have been the 3 center backs, especially Thiago Silva, their captain. Flu had only 32% possession against Inter. That yes, it's going to change against Al Hilal, but I don't see anyway like Fluminense taking the game on Al Hilal's half, or not. At least I do not expect them to do it from the very beginning against Al Hilal. Even if Fluminense Edu decide to start attacking from the very beginning, we saw against City an Al Hilal team who does not mind to be without the ball, and they are fine with that to create enough chances, because of course against City was Guardiola's team the one who had the ball for almost 70% of the time. But this said, Al Hilal generated 3.16 expected goals against City. That was the third largest expected goals, taking away penalties that Pep Guardiola has conceded since he's been the manager of Manchester City. So that says a lot about Al Hilal and how much they can hurt you even without the ball, especially in transition. And if we have to talk about transitions, of course, Malcolm was outstanding against Manchester City. We remember him from his time in Barcelona, although it wasn't a very happy time for him in Barcelona. Edu, for sure you remember, and he arrived from Zenit St. Petersburg a year ago. In 2023, he was chosen the best player in the Russian league, and so far in this World Cup, FIFA World Cup tournament, he's doing very, very well. Then defensively, is Al Hilal a team that you could trust a lot? Well, not really, maybe. They are unbeaten, yes, in the last 9 matches in all competitions, 6 wins, 3 draws. But in that run, they conceded 3 times in 3 matches. So that tells you a little bit of a story. Fluminense on the other side conceded 13 times under Renato Gaúcho in 19 games. So we can see again a team that if they need to defend, they could do it very well. And Al Hilal in 4 games in this tournament, they conceded 4 goals. So this says, when I'm saying these stats about defensively, that about Al Hilal, how defensively they are not very trustworthy. This means that Fluminense will take the game on them. Again, I don't think so. I don't see Renato Gaúcho doing that. I'm sorry. Inzaghi will miss Al-Dawsari, the best Saudi player for the last decade. He got injured. He's missing, although after they scored 4 against Manchester City, someone could say they are not missing him too much, but I'm referring to Alexander Mitrovic, who got a muscular problem before facing Real Madrid. There is a chance he could make it to the squad, to the bench. So for anyone looking for the individual market, check the squad before kickoff. If you want to think of anything about Alexander Mitrovic scoring anytime. Probably with the 4-3 against City, many will think that this could be another goal feast. I'm of the opinion, Edu, that this is more of a goals under. Under 2.5 is at 1.80 or 1.75 lately. I expect a little bit more balanced game with Al Hilal as well, slightly ahead of Fluminense. That's why my take here is Al Hilal to qualify. So that could happen in 90 minutes, that could happen in overtime, that could happen on penalties. Al Hilal to qualify, odds of 1.75.
All right, Laszlo is going for a similar market, in this case, Asian handicap 0. So if there is a draw at 90 minutes, you get your money back in Al Hilal. The odds are very good for both sides, and David is going for both teams to score, probably following your thoughts, Leo, about both teams conceding in this tournament. But this should be a nervy one. I think both are very happy, of course, to be in these quarterfinals facing each other, because they have a huge chance to qualify for the semifinals. And even in the semifinals, they could have a kind of easy tie, we can say, because we have a Palmeiras Chelsea, or a winnable one from this side of the tie. Leon, of the bracket, the favorite to qualify for the final is Chelsea. We mentioned it at the beginning of the tournament. Their season was so-so, but of course they qualified for the Champions League. They won the conference, one title for the Blues, and now they have a massive opportunity to reach the final of this FIFA Club World Cup, and this means a lot of money, and of course, also credit to the club. So very important this game for Enzo Maresca's men. They had to play extra time with Benfica, although they were better than the Portuguese team in the last 16 round. I think we can agree that this was not a penalty, the one whistled by the referee in the very last minute. But at the end, well, 𝐿𝐿𝐴, Neto scored, and Chelsea are rightfully, I think, in this round of the quarterfinals. Palmeiras, Leo, you were absolutely right in thinking the game against Botafogo could go to the extra time, and the end was Paulinho scoring a goal, the hero, to qualify Palmeiras de Verdão to this round. And here the bookies place Chelsea really as favorites. Leo, 2.11, still the odds are kind of high, considering they are a European team, and now that things are getting serious, it looks like the European teams are doing much better than the American ones. But I don't know if we can still trust Chelsea or not, because it's the same question as always with this Chelsea.
I mean, we could trust them, and the odds are tempting. That's true. You mentioned, Edu, but at the same time, if Fluminense, if we got surprised how well defensively Fluminense was when they do not have the expertise on that type of football, looking into what they have done against Inter, what to say about Palmeiras, who their best style is actually to wait in their own half, to attack you in transitions. They do not mind to give you the ball. That's Abel Ferreira. They have the know-how. They've been together for a very, very long time, something that Maresca cannot say about his Chelsea team. This could be such an interesting one. Actually, if I would need to choose one quarterfinal, it will be this one, because it couldn't be more contrasting, the styles of both teams. I guess Chelsea supporters might be thinking how the draw has opened in front of them, with Inter and City out, as the winner of this quarterfinal will be facing Al Hilal or Fluminense. Will be the second meeting between Palmeiras and Chelsea, with the Blues winning the final of 2021 Club World Cup 2-1 after the extra time. And who was the manager who took Chelsea to extra time? Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel. Well, that was Abel Ferreira. With Palmeiras, we always have to start thinking that there is an opportunity for goals under a market, even if on the other side you have Chelsea. The 1-0 over Botafogo was Palmeiras' 10th clean sheet in the last 14 matches in all competitions, Edu. A run dating back to the end of April. That says a lot. Palmeiras is the second best team in limiting the opposition chances in terms of expected goals per shots in this competition. Then, yes, when you look at the attacking side of Palmeiras, they are 6 in terms of chances created of the 8 left in this tournament. Of course, those looking at Palmeiras' defensive record will point to the fact that Gustavo Gomes, captain, leader, is suspended for this game. He saw a red card against Botafogo. Piqueres, the Uruguayan left back, is also suspended to face Chelsea. But Abel Ferreira has shown so many times over the years that he can replicate defensive performances regardless of who starts the match. In relation to this, as always, when a South American and European team face each other, cards market is also always a good option. For Palmeiras and Chelsea to get 2+ each cards, the odds show 1.6, so it's not bad, and something to take into account. The cards market, 𝗪𝗏𝗏 will be the player for sure that Chelsea fans will have a close eye on this match, not just because he's the player from Palmeiras that poses the most threatening for them, but also because 𝗪𝗏𝗏 is going to be joining Chelsea after this tournament. 𝗪𝗏𝗏 to record over 0.5 shots on target. He needs one, basically, is 1.5. Not bad for a player that have had so far 8 out of 16 shots on goal on target for him so far. Maresca is going to have a new player in João Pedro. They paid £60 million to Brighton to get the Brazilian. He's already in the US with Chelsea, and he's part of the squad. He make it into the list for the quarterfinals. So for sure he's gonna be in the squad, in the bench, and probably he's gonna be making his debut in the second half at some point. But if I need to mention one player so far for Chelsea, that would be Pedro Neto. It's the first time in his senior career, Edu, that he scored in 3 consecutive games. Well, he have done it in this Club World Cup. Before in Chelsea, he scored 3 goals in 30 matches. Well, now he scored 3 in the last 3 for Maresca's Blue. They're not going to have 𝐿𝐭𝐴𝐳𝐳. That's a downside for Chelsea. They're not going to have 𝐲𝐵ADIashile, but probably not many people will notice that 𝐲𝐵ADiashile is not playing. Cole Palmer is going to be interesting to see if Maresca is using him again on the left wing, as he has done against Benfica, because with Benfica he played with Caicedo, Lavia, and Enzo making a triangle in the middle, and Cole Palmer was not behind the striker but on the left. I like to see if now with Palmeiras, Neto is moving actually to the left and Palmer to the right, especially because on the right-hand side on Palmeiras defense is Agustín Jai, the Argentinian right back, who is not actually the most, he's not the fastest one, and Pedro Neto, we know how fast he is. Chelsea will have the ball, will have the most chances probably, but having the ball and pushing forward will likely bring corners as well, which is a market to explore. Chelsea over 5.5 corners is 2.1. But my take here with Palmeiras, and they have shown this also against Chelsea in 2021, goals under 2.5, odds of 1.7, Edu.
Well, also David is going for the under in this game. Another cagey one. Laszlo Nagy is going for X2, so I guess double chance for Chelsea. This doesn't pay that much. I'm going for Palmeiras over 1.5 cuts. Anyway, I guess these odds are a bit low. Palmeiras 1, Chelsea 2, correct score. For Patrick, is really open this side of the tie, although Chelsea are favorites right now, actually in the outright market to win the tournament. Leo, they are number 3, of course, after seeing the results. And imagine, no, at the end of the day, they could finish the season qualifying for the Champions League and winning the conference and perhaps playing the final of the FIFA Club World Cup. So it would be, in numbers, on paper, an excellent season for Enzo Maresca, despite all the issues they've been having along the season. Well, guys, tell me your predictions, and of course, you can also post your predictions in Oddspedia, because we have a tipster competition going on for the FIFA Club World Cup. You can see it right there, and you can win some cash prizes. Is absolutely free to participate, so I encourage you to try it out if you haven't done it yet. You can see the standings right now. The leadership board in this tipster competition, again, is completely free to participate, and you can win some cash prizes. You can try again. We have monthly competitions if you want to challenge yourself in July with a few games that we are gonna have internationally, or in August. There you go. Feel free to participate. Well, Leo, let's analyze the last 2 games we have in this FIFA Club World Cup. The other side of the bracket is whole European. The first one is PSG Bayern Munich, probably the most interesting one if we are seeing or looking for quality or for Champions League titles. We have PSG right now, current champions, as we all know, and showing a great level, although in this FIFA Club tournament, although it was easy peasy against Inter Miami, as you said. Of course, they didn't need even to play the second half. It was so easy for PSG, but now is a different story with Bayern Munich. If we check the head-to-head between these 2 teams, 4 consecutive wins for Bayern Munich. Last one, last November, 1-0, and actually in the last 4 games between these 2 teams, PSG couldn't score a single goal. We saw them also losing in the Champions League before that in some ties. So it's not an easy rival for PSG. Of course, is a lot of authority when we are talking about Bayern Munich. Although Leo against the Flamengo, we might think that it was easy for Bayern Munich, but it was not. They conceded a lot of chances. They were very clinical on taking their chances. We saw two beautiful goals by Harry Kane showing a great level, and good news for Luis Enrique. Probably we are seeing finally Dembélé, a player who barely we've seen him in this FIFA Club World Cup. Of course, the bookies place PSG as favorite. They are right to do so, especially Leo, because I still have doubts with this Bayern Munich. The midfield, Kimmich, Goretzka, are they able to create football with this really strong midfield that we are seeing from PSG? Probably the key is there, and also I think Bayern Munich's defense is quite poor.
Yes, Edu, that's probably the two keys of this game. No, if they're gonna be able to take the ball away from Vitinha, from 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲, and from PSG, and about the defensive back line, is that how high sometimes Company plays his defenders, and how much he likes to play 1v1 all over the pitch. Actually, both teams at some point, PSG as well, likes to press 1v1, but especially Bayern Munich. They do 1v1. We saw that against Flamengo, opting many times with Agustin Rossi to go long because it was 1v1 everywhere. And when you play your back line at the halfway line, that's dangerous against, yes, a Flamengo team, about to say against PSG. So, yes, it's true that Bayern Munich won the last four encounters between these teams, that PSG could not score lately against Bayern Munich, but this is a different PSG, and Bayern Munich with Company is always taking risk, sometimes absolutely unnecessary. Against Flamengo they scored 4, they won 4-2, but it was not comfortable, and actually Flamengo had better expected goals than Bayern Munich, even though Bayern scored 4 times. So I think the goals we did not have, or I expect not to have in the first 2 games we went through, should happen on this one. PSG won 8 of the last 9 matches in all competitions. The only defeat was on match day 2 against Botafogo in this club World Cup. Bayern, okay, let's not count if you want the 10-0 against Auckland, but they scored 6 in the last 3 matches. And again, that 1v1 all over the pitch should give us plenty of goals opportunities, and that should also give us goals for this game. At least that's what the way I see it. We will see how the heat impacts this game as well. Edu, the kickoff is planned for midday in Atlanta, although in the stadium has a roof. The Mercedes-Benz Stadium has a roof and air conditioning. But heat or not heat, PSG, who played in Los Angeles, for instance, against Atletico Madrid in their debut, also under intense heat, is with Bayern the two teams that they press the most in the competitions. So regardless the weather conditions, they press. On average, actually, they allow the opposition less than 7 passes, PSG and Bayern Munich, before they make a defensive action, which tells you how much they like to press. It's going to be a great tactical battle as well, because PSG can dominate and punish you if you wait in a low block, because yes, they move the ball so well with Vitinha, with 𝐬𝐭𝐴, with Fabian Ruiz, with Vitinha also, of course, as the main conductor, but they can also punish you when you leave spaces at the back, and Bayern Munich offers a lot of spaces at the back of their defensive high line. Then PSG, Edu, for sure, yes, they're gonna leave some spaces as well themselves when they push with Hakimi and Nuno Mendes. We have seen how much 𝐿𝐵𝐵𝐿 and Kingsley Coman can as well hurt you in this competition. Harry Kane scored a brace against Flamengo. He has now 3 in the tournament. Harry Kane to score anytime is 2.1 for this match against PSG. I believe that goals should be present in Atlanta. That's why my take here is both teams to score yes, combined with goals over 2.5. These two together, odds of 2.34.
The goals is a really good idea. This game screams goals. David is telling us 1-2 for Bayern Munich. Clement is telling us, I don't see Bayern winning here, but who knows? We are seeing a lot of surprises. And PSG right now, they look much more solid, although it's also true that in this competition, they only faced a tough team and they lost the game actually against Botafogo, although against the other European team, against Atletico de Madrid in the opening game, they were too good. Well, the winner of this European royalty battle, PSG Bayern Munich, are gonna play Real Madrid or Borussia Dortmund in the other semi-finals. Yep. We've seen this game a couple of years ago in the Champions League final. We saw also this season in the Champions League, Real Madrid beaten 5-2 Borussia Dortmund, and in both games, Vinicius Jr. was outstanding. Vinicius showing a little bit more and more in this FIFA Club tournament. He was slightly better in the last two games. Of course, the name of Real Madrid in this tournament is Gonzalo. Leo, he's been outstanding. What an impact in the team. The new number 9 of Real Madrid, although probably he should start on the bench, or this is what we thought, because 𝐬𝗵𝗵𝗀 should be back in the starting 11 after playing the second half against Juventus. Real Madrid was again better than 𝗀𝗵𝗀𝐿, especially with Valverde really strong in midfield. We saw and we listened to Xabi Alonso saying really kind words to the Uruguayan. For Borussia Dortmund, Leo, they beat Monterrey, 𝗀𝗍𝗍, the goal scorer that we really like in the Bundesliga, scoring also in this tournament. And we are not going to see a Bellingham clash because Job is suspended.
Yeah.
So there are some people saying that they are the same person, and probably they could keep thinking that because they are not going to see each other in the pitch. So Matrix is not going to hurt. Real Madrid 2 favorite, no? 1.6. We have to remember that this is Borussia Dortmund, and even in this 5-2 at the Bernabeu this season or last season, they were 2-0 up. So be careful with Dortmund.
Yes, but I agree with the favoritism for Real Madrid. They do 3 consecutive wins, 8 goals scored, 2 conceded. Alonso's Madrid is taking form. The second half, especially with Juventus, was very, very good. I think that it was in the first show we discussed that for the first time in many years, the tactical discussion was going to be at the front of the debate around Madrid, and we are having that. We can see the new manager hand in games, how he's intervening in games, Xabi Alonso. I know it's very early days, but Arda Güler in that pivot position in midfield, Edu, is proving a hack for Xabi Alonso. I mean, we haven't seen it before. We haven't seen it with Ancelotti or even in the national team for Arda to be playing there. I won't be going as far as saying that he can be a left-footed Toni Kroos, but there is a vision from him in that part of the pitch, the passing range, and the pivot combination with Fede Valverde could be very powerful. The Uruguayan, what a player. Actually, Fede Valverde over 0.5 shots on target, just one. He needs odds of 1.53. He can be all over the pitch. It's just amazing. The biggest change I would say so far is how centrally this Real Madrid attacks. We got used to see the ball before going outside most of the time to look for Vini, for Rodrigo, for 𝐬𝗵𝗵𝗀. So it is strange a little bit to see many combinations in the central channel. Of course, the opposition can close the spaces inside as Juventus has done in the first half, and for sure Dortmund is going to try to replicate that. But when they need to go outside, they do it. So far with Xabi Alonso as well, but it's great for them to have this plan B in a way. Trent Alexander-Arnold assisting Gonzalo Garcia was very important. The moment of showing all the supporters what he can do. He can have all the distractions you want defensively sometimes, or that was his story in Liverpool. But there is no right back in world football with the quality of Trent when he has the ball at his feet, I would say. You mentioned Gonzalo Garcia, the academy player. he has been another point for 𝐬𝐵 Alonso. He had played only 61 minutes with the first team this season before this Club World Cup, but he embraced the chance because of the absence of Hendrik, the absence of 𝗵𝐵, who anyway now he's back, and I like the 20-25 minutes of 𝗵𝐵 against Juventus. He looked lively, probably a little bit short of football, but I like his minutes, and we will see. We expect him to start, but would you take out Gonzalo Garcia with this form? He could be what Raúl was for Jorge Valdano and Capa at the beginning of the 90s, so in 1995 when he got his debut and never left the team and he became a legend. We will see if that happened with Gonzalo Garcia, but football is about moments, it's about confidence, and Gonzalo Garcia now is high on both aspects. And Dortmund, yes, arriving after winning comfortably against Monterrey. After the first half, it could have been, or in the first half, it could have been, Edu, easily 4-0, and they went to halftime just 2-0, and when Monterrey scored with 10 or 15 minutes to go, they suffered a little bit at the end. Outstanding performances so far from the goalkeeper, 𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐻𝐿. If you go for a highlight reel of saves, you're gonna see many from 𝐿𝐵𝐻𝐿, although the best save so far in this tournament is the one from Bono against Savinho. I just don't know how he's managed to save that one with his right or left hand, but anyway, it was an amazing, outstanding save when City was winning 1-0 and they could have scored the second one, but otherwise 𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐻𝐿 is going to be all over that reel of saves in this tournament. The head-to-head is, of course, on Real's favor. You mentioned they have won 4 straight matches against Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund last win in that last run of the head-to-head was in 2013, because this will be the 5th time that they're going to meet in a knockout tie, and Real Madrid won 3 of the last 4 knockout ties against Dortmund, and the last win for Dortmund on a knockout tie, that was in 2013 when they reached the final of the Champions League. Exactly. Lewandowski. Yes, on that 4-3 on aggregate, with Lewandowski being the star of the show, especially there in Dortmund. But my take here, Edu, Real Madrid to win combined with Fede Valverde over 0.5 shots on target. These two together, odds of 2.53.
There is a new thing also about this Real Madrid's 𝐬𝐵 Alonso, and is the shots way outside the box. And we saw Valverde or 𝐬𝐿𝐴 trying a lot against Juventus. Yeah. So especially if the other team is playing in their box, really defensive, is really good bet. Betting on Valverde or 𝐬𝐿𝐴, also a key player for 𝐬𝐵 Alonso to shoot at least once on target. Well, it's always difficult with Borussia Dortmund, although the bookies place Real Madrid really as favorites. According to the bookies, we should see Al Hilal, Chelsea, and PSG Real Madrid in the semifinals, but we always see surprises in this tournament. About predictions, we have David going for Real Madrid to win, and we have Laszlo first half Asian handicap minus 0.75. Even if against Juventus, for instance, the team started a bit slowly, they play way better in the second half. Well, guys, this is it. This is all our analysis for the quarterfinals of this FIFA Club World Cup. Remember, of course, that you can create your own tipster competitions with rivals. We still have these rivals competitions during summer, and there you go. You can see on the screen, it's very easy. You go to tips and then you go to public rivals, and you can win some cash prizes as well, absolutely free to participate, and you can challenge your friends, apart from the other tipster competitions that I already mentioned in the show. Well, Leo, in these tipster competitions, by the way, you can create also accumulators. So we are going to give you some ideas for it. Leo, let's finish the video as always with your safe bet for these quarterfinals.
PSG, Bayern Munich, both teams to score yes, 1.5.
And the ACCA?
Both teams to score yes and goals over 2.5 in PSG Bayern Munich. And the other one is Fede Valverde over 0.5 shots on target. These two together gives me a total of 3.87 for an ACCA.
Well, great to see you, Leo. Great to listen to your tips. Thanks, everyone, for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.